We move on to our last talk for today morning's talk session, and this is by Suneha Jagannathan. Suneha is an independent marine biologist. She's explored the potential of using perception surveys among divers to assess coral reef health and how this can be used as a citizen science tool. Currently, she works on marine education programs across South India, trying to incorporate citizen science as an instrument for environment education. She's going to be talking to us about perceptions of scuba divers and coral reef health.
Hi, my name is Suneha and I'm an independent marine biologist. I'm also a consultant with Dakshin Foundation. For this conference, I would like to present a study that I did as part of my master's thesis, which is titled Perceptions of Scuba Divers on Coral Reef Health and its Applications in Citizen Science. Now, monitoring marine ecosystems is a very time-consuming and a very expensive process, and often this is too much of a burden for the scientific community to bear on its own. However, recreational divers form a perfect pool of knowledge because they have frequent access to the same marine ecosystems, often the ones that we want to monitor. Now, currently, there are international reef monitoring programs that do include citizen scientists, and these programs rely on training volunteer divers to go collect data on assigned surveys. While such programs are excellent to ensure that the accuracy of the data is maintained, a lot is lost out in terms of the number of people who can afford to participate. These kind of training programs are often very rigorous, time-consuming, as well as financially expensive, and this reduces the pool of participants in such a program. Perception studies here can be used to retrieve data from a larger pool of volunteers, thereby increasing the precision of the data collected. Now, I performed a study based in Tioman Marine Park, which is a small island based out of Peninsular Malaysia. This was declared a marine protected area by the government in 1995. And while fishing in this region is quite restricted, there is a lot of tourist activities as it is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the country. We try to address three basic questions as part of this study. Firstly, can scuba divers perceive characteristics of reef health accurately? Secondly, which of these characteristics can be seen as the most representative of overall reef health in the area? And finally, are perceptions of reef health influenced by diving experience or professional background? We followed a methodology in order to compare our perceptions to actual true coral cover and species richness. Firstly, we surveyed a total of 13 sites from different parts of Tioman Marine Park following the Coral Video Transect Protocol. Using these videos, we derived data regarding coral cover as well as percentage cover of other major benthic categories, and finally, species richness and diversity. To survey perceptions of divers, we took photographs from each of these sites and distributed them in form of an online questionnaire through emailing lists as well as social media platforms. Now, due to some logistic concerns, we could not go and survey the divers on field, which is why we had to resort to online questionnaires. And each of these perception data surveys collected data regarding their demographics as well as their dive experience. Now, following this, the participants were shown a series of 3 images from each of these sites, and they had to rate each site based on 3 main characteristics. Firstly was coral cover, second was species diversity or species richness, and finally, they were asked to rate reef health. Now, each of these characteristics was also defined to our participants using simple, non-scientific and non-technical jargon. In order for us to quantitatively compare the perceptions of divers to true biological data, our biological readings of coral cover and species richness were transformed to a scale of 1 to 5. Now, this rank transformed biological data was then compared to diver ratings using non-parametric analysis. Moving on to the results of the study, do divers perceive coral cover accurately? When we compared the average ratings that divers gave on coral cover for all of our sites to the average coral cover that was rank transformed, we noticed that there is a significant difference between diver perceptions and true coral cover. When we also compared varying levels of experience, certification, and professional backgrounds, we noticed that there was not a significant difference among the divers themselves. However, we did notice that divers almost consistently seem to overestimate coral cover. Moving on to species richness, when we compared average diver perceptions to average species richness at these sites, we noticed that there was no significant difference. When we also conducted Spearman rank correlation tests between these characteristics, we noticed that there was consistency in terms of how divers perceived species richness amongst each other. However, there was a little variation in terms of how each category of divers were able to perceive species richness accurately. Moving on to how divers perceive reef health, since there is no one sort of constant or variable with which we can actually define reef health, we decided to compare divers' ratings of reef health to other ratings that they had done, which was species richness and coral cover. And we also decided to compare this to true species richness, coral cover, as well as the rank transform data. What we noticed was that divers' perceptions of reef health was highly correlated with their perceptions of species richness. And we also noticed that their perceptions of coral cover was highly related or correlated with their perceptions of species richness. We did, however, notice that their perceptions of reef health was not very significantly correlated with any true biological data. Now, based on the results of our study, we can make the following basic conclusions. Firstly, divers' perceptions of high coral cover is a lot less stringent than biologically accepted values of the same. They also seem to consistently overestimate coral cover. And this has also been noticed in other similar perception studies that have been done in different regional contexts across the globe. Secondly, since their perceptions of both reef health as well as coral cover were highly correlated with species richness, we can also state that species richness or species diversity can be seen as a defining factor in their perceptions of overall reef health. In other words, according to a recreational diver, a healthy reef would likely be a biodiverse reef. This is also a concept that has been reiterated many times in scientific literature as well. Now, can perception surveys adequately be used as a tool for citizen science? Only using perception surveys might not be enough to assess the reef health of an area. However, with increased level of marine education for divers, this tool can be possibly made to be more effective in the future. However, diver perceptions could possibly be used as a quick assessment tool for managers in marine protected areas in order to establish a more rigorous protocol, be it a citizen science protocol or a proper marine monitoring program. However, this study does come with a certain set of limitations due to the fact that we could not conduct our perception surveys in person. That could heavily influence the results of the study. Of course, your perception of a reef is very different when you dive in it and very different from seeing pictures of it. Because of this limitation, we were also unable to investigate their perceptions regarding other very important characteristics of reef health, like the prevalence of coral disease or the prevalence of coral bleaching, both of which are very important characteristics while defining the health of an ecosystem. Taking the study forward into actionable change, we would advise that these perception surveys can be used, but immediately after a dive in person. And these sort of reef health questionnaires can be made as a form of payment to dive in a marine protected area. It is often practiced across the world when divers are accessing a national park or a marine protected area, that they have to pay a park fee. Now, for participation in such citizen science programs can be another mode of payment in the form of a service rather than just a monetary payment. Thirdly, citizen science can be used to create a feedback process amongst divers. Participation in a citizen science program will likely increase a diver's environmental and marine literacy and awareness, which thereby will also in the future contribute to more accurate and reliable data from citizen scientists. And lastly, such programs can only be effective in terms of the quality of data we retrieve if conservation-centric diver education is imparted and good quality marine education is imparted to divers of various certification levels and various levels of experience. I would like to thank my supervisors, Dr. Giacomo Santini and Dr. He Xiang, for helping with framing and performing this study, as well as all my team members. And I would like to thank this conference for letting me present my study here today. Thank you.
Hi, Suneha.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for that talk. Very interesting that you chose to, assess citizen divers to ask them about their opinions of reef health. We have a couple of questions. Harsha Kumar asks, is it fair to assume that a recreational scuba diver can estimate species diversity, given the amount of cryptic diversity and the number of tiny things that inhabit reefs?
I would say the results of the study itself indicate that no, it might not necessarily, they might not necessarily be able to accurately judge species richness or diversity. And given the target audience for this project and for the study, I use the term species richness and diversity interchangeably, which is also why of course, I don't think they'll be able to detect a scorpion fish, for example. So yes, it would not be fair, and the results indicate that as well. And also, I'd like to add that, of course, the presence of particular charismatic species might also influence their idea of species richness in the area. For example, if they go on a dive and they see a manta ray, where in a relatively unhealthy reef, they still might rate that reef to be healthy by the presence of charismatic species.
Okay. We have another question. For species diversity, do you give a list of specific species in the reef to note, or just ask them to see if there is an abundance of species in the reef?
Just an abundance of species in the reef. It was not, they were not noting presence, absence. It was a perception survey. It was not really data points that they were contributing. So we were really trying to understand what they understood without any preemptive knowledge or understanding of reef ecology in general.
Okay. One last question. We are kind of coming to the close of our session, but one last question. Are there any groups that recreational divers can target instead? Continuing from Harsha's question.
Sorry, I didn't really understand that.
Are there any groups within, reef species that divers can target to assess, health?
Yeah. In fact, I'm currently working with Dakshin to be able to identify those ideal groups that that divers can identify, and it would be a balance of something that is an ideal environmental indicator versus something a diver can also easily ID. So it's sort of a balance between these two factors in terms of coming up with a citizen science protocol for divers in particular.
Okay, thank you. And one last question, I'd like to ask you if you know if divers were given information before they, went on a dive. Were they told, this is a great reef, you'll see a lot of stuff here, or this is not such a great place to dive? So is there some kind of, preloading of attitudes or expectations?
So I think with this particular study, we couldn't actually judge that at all because it was done online. As I said, we couldn't go and do the collect perceptions from divers immediately after a dive. So these were divers who did not really, I don't even think they didn't even know the location of the study. So these were just ad hoc images that they were presented from each of these sites. So they didn't know where it was. They didn't have any previous information about the site. They were not really asked if they had dived there earlier before.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. So I'd like to ask you to go to Slack and answer questions and engage. You have more questions coming in, but we've come to the close of our session right now, and we would like to, thank you. And we will break for the next half an hour before we come back for the last session of talks. So please come back at 12:30.
Thank you so much
for the last session of talks. Thank you. And the panel.